Hello guys, let's talk about bookkeeping business books. So I wanted to kind of share like what are the best books for someone who's trying to start a bookkeeping business. So number one thing, guys, you got to make sure that you're kind of spreading out your horizons. So this is actually kind of a misleading topic because what I'm going to actually share is not just like books based on bookkeeping, but really books for business. Okay, because you have to really start understanding that you're not just a bookkeeper, you're a business owner. You have to get good at marketing, sales, as well as pricing. So some books you should be looking at are sales books, as well as negotiation books, persuasion books, as well as marketing books. And I would actually do it in that order, right? So the first one should be sales. So sales is the most important factor when you're first starting your business. A good book to read for that will be Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. It basically just gives you a look into like what it means to actually sell, what it means to do it the correct way, to be able to not only like get in front of a prospect who has a lot of money, but also build that relationship with them so they feel really good about working with you. They feel good about paying you money and actually signing up with you, right? So you don't have to be like sleazy, you don't have to be pushy. It really just kind of breaks down a lot of the false beliefs about, what it means to be good at sales. Now, the reason why we're starting off with sales is because sales is the most important skill set. And it's also the skill set that most people are the weakest in when they're first starting, right? Because a lot of people have like these beliefs about sales, like that you have to sell ice to an Eskimo, or you have to be this extroverted person where it's like you're shouting and you're high energy and you're like rambling and you're always talking. Or some people think that, there's just so many different false beliefs around sales, right? So you have to really be able to break those beliefs. I always see the people that don't survive in this industry are people who never really overcome the fear of sales, right? Because what happens is they end up getting like, a couple clients, maybe like 3 to 5 clients, but only paying like $100 a month. And it's not because the clients couldn't afford to pay you more. It's just that the sales presentation and the way that you presented it was not valuable enough for them to want to do it. And plus, if your sales skills were good, if someone throws out like a really, really low quote, then you know what to do to kind of raise that quote up to a reasonable rate so that you can actually charge and make some money for it, right? Because think about it like this: if you got 5 clients that each paid you at least $500 a month, you'd be, okay. You probably wouldn't be able to quit your job, but you'd be able to survive in the business. You wouldn't have to worry about really like failing. It's more like when you only get like 5 clients at $150 a month and only make like $700 a month. That's where it's really kind of like people like, I don't know if this is really worth it for me, right? So that's really the key. Like you got to be good at sales. You have to know exactly what to do. It also inside of that book gives you like an outline of what it looks like to make 250 grand a year, like how to actually set up your day to do 250 grand a year in sales. Right. Inside of my mentorship program, I give students like that, and we actually build a time flow and workflow management based on your schedule, so you know exactly like what to do when, and you can make sure you still have a lot of free time, at least 2 to 3 hours a day that you can spend with your family and be able to kind of relax in addition to working a full-time job and slash or even growing your business, right? And also, if you want some help growing your business, like you're tired of doing this on your own, or you just want to avoid all the trial and error, go ahead and click on the link inside the description to book a call with me. I can't wait to see if I can help you out if you're ready for some. Now, back to what we're talking about, right? The second book on sales that I would be reading would be called Fanatical Prospecting. So this book is by Jeb Blount. I think it's Jeb A. Blount. I don't remember what his middle initial is, but it's more about learning how to prospect. And all prospecting means is how to go and build a relationship with someone in a very, very short period of time. A lot of the techniques that are inside that book can be adapted to you doing like virtual or like social media type prospecting, where you're connecting with people, you're building relationships, you're talking to them, they come to you with their problems, their pains, and their concerns. And then if you're good at sales on the actual like phone consultation, or even if you do Zoom consultations, then you can be able to go and get some money. So like Sell or Be Sold teaches you a little bit about sales and kind of like the basics of what it means to be a salesperson. Fanatical Prospecting teaches you how to go and get more sales calls. And then another book that you need to start reading, at least in my opinion, is you need to get a book called, I have so many book examples. I would get one biography or autobiography, be like The Hard Way by Brad Lee. Now that book is really good because it actually gives you a look into like what are the mistakes and what are the different things that you need in order to actually make like 6, 7, or 8 figures. Now, the reason why I'm picking that book is because he took a very long time to get to 8 figures, and he outlines all the different mistakes that he should have kind of not made. So you can kind of vicariously live through him and actually see it. Now, there are a lot of biographies by people who are like billionaires or multimillionaires, and I'm not saying that those are bad. I'm just saying if you're like making $0 in business, you should probably go and find someone who's making 6 figures. And then if you're making 6 figures, maybe someone's making 7. And if you're 7, then you maybe someone like 8. And then you just kind of go based on there, right? Now, with that, he is making 8 figures now, so it might be 2 steps above where you are, but it's always good to be able to kind of learn from people like that, because it's not quite so big where it's like most people can't imagine doing it, but at the same time, it's not like, it's not something to kind of like raise your nose at because he's not making $1 billion a year. So I really like it. Personally, it was really, really great for me. It's really eye-opening as well to see like, oh wow, so these people are going through some of the same things that I go through. And it's not that the person's any different. It's just the fact that they've been doing it a lot longer. They have kind of honed in their process, then you know really how to kind of pull the different levers inside their business to grow and move a lot forward really, really fast. Okay, so those are 3 books that I would be reading. And dude, those right there would be able to go and get you a lot of money. Next thing I would be reading on would be probably the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. That's the second book I recommended by Grant Cardone. And the reason why I like that is because it really shows you how to focus, how to goal set, and how to really start kind of thinking about life a little bit differently, right? Because as a business owner, if you come from more of the corporate background, generally the first year, and the reason why most people struggle the first 2 years they start the business, because a lot of the stuff that you learn in corporate America, or even in college or school growing up, are generally stuff that kind of limits you, or they kind of make sure that you can do a good job working for someone else. But when you have your own business, you need a totally different mindset, a totally different way of thinking, a totally different way of kind of moving, right? Because in business, it's really about consistency. Like consistency is really, really the key, right? And then really learning how to structure your business so that it actually supports your life, so that you, even if you don't want to get a vacation, or if you do want to get a vacation, you can still fit it in. It can be very flexible. Versus how most people, like when they are in corporate America and they like leave corporate America, they don't know how to be consistent with their business and all their different like marketing practices and different sales practices and even prospecting practices, right? And then they end up like one week they go really hard, and next week and next month they do nothing. And they go really hard and they do like nothing in coast. And they go really hard and they take a vacation. And it's just like it doesn't really work like that. Now, I'm not saying that once you know your flow, then you can't go on vacation. I'm not saying that. It's just you need to first be consistent to get a baseline of what you need to do in order to go and win the battle. And then from there, you can kind of experiment with your time to see how low or how little can you spend on marketing and sales and still make a pretty good amount of money, especially when you're doing like recurring revenue type sales. So for example, Mike, he doesn't have to do a lot of complicated marketing because he's so good at sales that he knows he gets clients for 15 grand, 8 grand, 7 grand a month. Versus someone who's just getting started, if you don't know how to sell someone for that much money, you're selling people more for like 500, 1,000. You probably wouldn't be able to sell someone for 1,000 if you don't have good sales skills, unless you're charging like hourly. You have to be a lot more consistent in the beginning. And once you start getting really good, and once you start getting like really skillful, then you can kind of like coast and you can relax. And there's a lot of cool little like marketing tricks that we can do, but it's almost like you have to get frequent before you can before you can kind of relax, right? To get frequent. I forgot what the rhyme I was going to say was, but it's been a long time since I've had to say that rhyme. But yeah, that's really key, like consistency, right? So I think that was what, 4 books I recommended. Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone, Fanatical Prospecting by Jabé Blount, The Hard Way by Brad Lee, as well as The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. You get those 4 books, it's going to put you ahead of probably 99% of most people who are thinking about starting a business. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you want some help going and growing your accounting, your bookkeeping business, go ahead and click on the link inside the description below to book a call with me to see if I can help you out. If I can't help you out, I'm going to at least give you a game plan and a solid strategy for you to know exactly what to do. But if it is a good fit, then we can talk about working together long-term and what that entails. I'll see you soon. If you're not ready for the call right now, that is A-OK as well. I'll see you in the next video.